When we know better, we do better. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 genius real estate marketing strategies that can change your business forever. When it comes to real estate marketing, sometimes you'll notice that there are certain people that just seem to get it. They just seem that everything they do seems to hit with their audience in a special way that leads to them having more opportunities for listings and also to work with more buyers. So what I want to do today is I'm going to break this down in a way that when we get done with this, you're going to have a better understanding, hopefully, that you've ever had as far as what it takes to be successful marketing with real estate. And also, I'm going to give you basically these 5 different concepts, and not just the concepts, but I'll give you practical ways that you can put these into work in your business that's going to make a difference. The first concept that I want you to understand is that there is what I call a bell curve of marketing. So when you're looking at this first small part on the bell curve is what we call the minimum dose effort. And basically, if we put this down in here, I'm just going to put MDE, the minimum dose effort. Now what this is where the majority, probably 70 to 75% of all people that market real estate or marketing in general, where they spend their time. And what this is where you're just doing enough to have something posted. Or this is just doing one video and thinking it's going to go viral. This is just posting once a month and doing a just sold post and expecting to generate business. A lot of times these are folks that basically know that they should do social media, but they only do a little bit here. And when they do just a little bit, they get a little bit to 0 results. So then we come to what's in the main part of this, and that is what we call the sweet spot, okay? So I'm just gonna put SS right here. This is the sweet spot. This is the majority of where success happens for real estate agents, and especially in reality, anybody that's marketing anything. This is where we found a pace where we can have peace, and we also are at a place where we're drawing in the prospects and our ideal clients. A lot of times the difference between the minimum dose effort portion and actually hitting the sweet spot is just simply doing more. You have to have more out there. You know, there is the rule of 7 that's out there that basically says people need to see you 7 times before they even recognize you as far as someone that is in real estate or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So what do we do to make sure that we move from that minimum dose effort where the majority of the people are into the sweet spot? It's simply doing more. And the last part of this, in reality, is this small portion here, and that is where we've got oversaturation. Now, this is a place where very few people get, but basically on that end of the curve, that's where we've done too much. You're doing too much. Listen, I've had times when I can see that I was trying to do too much. I was doing too much posting, and the average response was getting down. I'm right in this season right now. I was just doing a lot of things, and I felt like maybe I was overdoing it. So now what I've done is I'm slowing down and taking the time to really understand what is it that my audience, what is it that agents really want, and what are they responding to. Now, once we've done this and we get to this sweet spot, where we're understanding and we're getting a lot of different information out there, now we have the opportunity to get to the data that we need. So a couple things you can do here is notice the things that you post that people respond to. Is it a quote? Is it a picture of a property? Is it a video? Is it a short form video? What is it on Instagram? Now you can do this a couple different ways. If you'll just pull up your grid on Instagram, for instance, once you've done enough posts to start seeing this, and you look at what have people responded to, how many views did your reels have? Which reels had more views? What is it that you can do to understand the data? Because now you've been posting enough. And once you understand that data, now we're going to have that ability to do this. So what do we do to move into this sweet spot? Just post more. Go out there and understand that try different things. If they don't hit and you don't like the way they look, simply remove them from social media. But make sure that you're out there trying enough things to find that sweet spot, and everything else will begin to change. The second step is to develop an avatar of who your ideal client is. And when we're talking about an avatar, it's like, who would the average person be that is looking for your content? So if you're focusing on first-time homebuyers, you're maybe looking at teachers, people that are in the service industry, people that are working at the fire department or police department, or whoever it may be, a young couple. Who is it that is your ideal client that you can help the most? Because listen, ultimately, if we can come to a place where we understand who it is that we can serve at the highest level, everything else will begin to take care of itself, because we'll begin to attract those folks. So who is it for you? Is it an investor? Investors are going to spend more time on different platforms than a first-time home buyer. Is it someone that is looking to move up? Is it someone that is looking to downsize? You see, once we understand who is your ideal client, now we have the ability really to get very particular on the type of marketing we're doing. So let me start with this. I would encourage you, go back and look at all of your past transactions over the last couple of years. You'll begin to see some patterns on specific types of buyers, specific types of sellers, where they are in life. who is it that is your ideal client? Think about it. It may not even be all of the most transactions you've had. It may be the transaction that you were like, you know what? If I could just work with people like that all the time, my life would have the balance I'm looking for. Understand who that ideal client is. And once we understand who it is, now let's begin to understand where do they spend time. So what is it that this ideal client does? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? Are they on YouTube? Listen, everybody's on YouTube. But are they on specific types of, are they on LinkedIn if they're an investor, or maybe it's executive, or it's someone that is maybe at a level looking for a second home? You have to understand who your ideal client is, where they are, and then understand what is the information they need. What is their biggest pain points? What are the things that they have the biggest questions about? When you begin to understand who that client is, understand where they are, and you begin to produce content that is answering the biggest questions they have and the most burning needs, you're giving them what exactly they need, all of a sudden now your marketing begins to take hold. Again, I want you to understand this too. Sometimes we get caught up in the numbers and we're worried that maybe we didn't get 2,000 views on some reel that we did. It's not about the numbers. It's not about how many. It's about how deep the connection is with your ideal client. I'm going to use the example on YouTube with Noah Escobar. He does some videos that get a lot more views, but he does particular videos on a particular neighborhood that is a newer neighborhood that when he only had a couple hundred views on that thing, he got his first call that ended up being $1.2 million sale because it was specifically targeting his ideal client for that neighborhood with the information they needed, which set him apart as the expert for that group. You see, when you understand your client and you give them what they need, your business cannot help but grow. The third key to effective marketing is we've understood now who our ideal client is. We've also gotten a kind of an idea of what it is that we want to do, and now we need to understand what it is and who is it that's doing it in a way that makes us feel comfortable that we can model after. So I want to encourage you, find a few agents in other markets that are on social media or that are doing marketing that you can model your business after. Find someone that does business in a similar way that you would like to do. And here's why, a couple things. Number one is it's going to give us a diversity of understanding of what's working. Number two, it's going to give us the ability to put our own spin on things that we already have been tested. You know, when we first started, I said, hey, you got to do more posting so you can see what's working and you can give your clients exactly what it is. If you find someone that is similar to you in the way that they deliver their messaging, and somebody that works in a similar type of market in another part of the country, if they have an Instagram reel, for instance, or a post that does extremely well, if you'll just tailor that to your local market, I promise you it's going to do well also. So here's what I do is I like to find those folks, and I would encourage you, get on their email list. Just reach out to them and say, hey, I love all the stuff you're doing on social media. I'm looking for a referral partner in your area. I'd love to be included on your mailing list or your monthly newsletter. And I'm going to follow you on social media and comment on those things because I love what you're doing and I'd love just to have a better understanding of how you're doing your business. And if I can help you in any way, I'd love to serve you as well. You see, once we get on that email list for 5 or 6 agents and we're getting newsletters, all of a sudden you can scan those as they come in and you can identify things. Hey, that caught my attention. It'll probably catch my client's attention as well. And you can begin to model those things after that. Also, you'll notice when they post on social media, you'll notice that they're doing a certain type of format and it's doing better than their other types of things. The best thing that I can teach you on that is to go to that Instagram grid, so to speak, for those ideal type of agents that are like what you want to build your business with. Click on the little reel button, scroll down and find the ones that have 3 to 10 times more engagement than their others. It'll just tell you the numbers that they have as far as that. Study what those types of reels were for them. And odds are if you take those, the same type of numbers outperforming the typical post they have, if you'll do those in your area, you'll get that same type of outperformance on your grid as well. The next concept is that consistency counts. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier the rule of 7 where it talks about that you need 7 times that people see you before they even recognize you. Well, social media gives us that ability, but we have to understand that it is all about consistency. Consistency comes in a couple different ways. The algorithm on the social media platforms is looking for the ability to understand exactly what you are, who you are, and who you help. So the more consistent you are in posting, whatever that is for you, once every other day, once a day, twice a week, whatever it is for you, find consistency. Find consistency where I'm going to post at certain times every week. I'm going to post every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm going to post every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Find some consistency because that consistency breeds trust. Now, there's a couple of ways to do this, okay? And I'm going to go back to basically, I mentioned the rule of 7, but let me give you John Maxwell's rule of 5, and I'm going to do this from a marketing sense. The key when you understand this is, and what he says is that the rule of 5 states that if you were to Have a tree that you wanted to cut down in your backyard, for instance. That's the analogy he uses. If you would every single day pick up an axe, walk out into the backyard, strike that tree 5 times, lay the axe down, come back the next day, pick that axe up, strike that tree 5 times, do this day after day, sooner or later, you're going to have an opportunity to see that tree fall. Now, some smaller trees will fall faster. Some that are bigger trees, it may take a little while. But as long as you are consistently chipping away at that, everything that you're looking for as far as that tree falling is going to happen. So how do we apply that to marketing? What is it that is your 5, so to speak, things that you'll do on a daily basis to make sure that your marketing message and your information is getting out to your ideal client? I'm going to give you some examples of this. Number one is I like to do this where it's on a weekly basis more than just a daily basis when we're talking about marketing. So, for instance, the best agents I know, they'll have a weekly newsletter. That newsletter goes out where they're talking about what's going on in the market. They're talking about events in their local area. This could be once a month, whatever it is for you, but consistently having an email newsletter that goes out to all of your clients. The second thing that they have is that they will have consistent posting on social media. So what is it that you can do to set a tone on social media where you've got consistency there? Now, I know we're busy agents. Sometimes this can happen. This can get difficult to do this. So maybe this is an area, because it is important from a marketing perspective to have that consistency, to find someone that can help you. Maybe it's a local assistant. I use a virtual assistant overseas in the Philippines, and I found a company that helped me find the ideal person. It's been great for me. If you want details on that, just email me or direct message me if you're seeing this, and I'll be glad to get you a link to their website where you can take a look at that and see if that might fit. But basically find a way to be consistent. Also, what is it that you can do as far as those 5? For me, if I'm an agent, I want that email newsletter going out each week. I want a certain number of posts going out every single week. I want to have outbound calls to a certain group of people. Maybe it's that I'm going to host at least one open house every week. Maybe it's something where I'm going to geographically farm and I'm going to have a mailer that goes out once a month to that area, and I'm going to make at least 5 calls per week to owners in that neighborhood. Whatever it is for you, develop a consistent routine of marketing, because here's what happens is when we get busy, we stop marketing because we get busy handling, putting fires out, and then we go through this roller coaster ride because we didn't market, we don't have consistent flow of leads, and now we got to start all over once we get that other one closed. So understand, consistency breeds contracts, it breeds trust. It's the key to everything when it comes to marketing. Last but not least, try to focus on deepening existing relationships instead of building new ones. The new ones will come. If you will go deep, so to speak, in the relationships you have, they will take your business wide with referrals, with more of your ideal clients. So what can we do to focus in on this, and so that we make sure that we're taking advantage of all the relationships that we have in our business or that we've developed over time? Who are the ideal clients? I'm gonna give you a couple things here. Number one is I love the way that Heidi Harris puts this. She says that instead, she stopped buying leads and she started buying lunch. So instead of spending $30 to $50 a week on leads, or $100 a week, she just began buying lunch. She found her ideal clients and just said, hey, I'd love to check in with you. She meets them for coffee or she meets them for lunch. She doesn't even talk about her business. She just checks in on them, sees how they're doing, deepens her personal relationship with them. And ultimately it ends up, because of the relationship, they want to help her business and they send her referrals and they are repeat clients. Also, what can you do to do this? Instead of spending $1,000 a month on finding and buying new leads, why don't you look at the opportunity to possibly take your best 50 people, 100 people, whoever it is in your sphere of influence, in your past clients, make it an MVP list, and once a month, do a pop by with something of value for them. If you're wondering about some of those ideas, I'll have a video link up above. You can see one of those each month. I've laid that out for you. But think of it from a standpoint is what can you do to deepen those existing relationships? Because everything you need, you probably already know all the people that you need to deepen relationships with that'll help your business grow. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. I specifically chose the video below for you because it builds on the one you just watched. I hope it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.